Remember Craig, Smokey, Big Worm, and Debo? Friday made them household names and helped create one of the most beloved comedies of the 1990s. But once the cameras stopped rolling, many of their lives took shocking and unexpected turns. From Oscar-winning success to bankruptcy, homelessness, and untimely death, some of their real stories became even more dramatic than the movie itself. Let's revisit the Friday cast in 2026 and see where life ultimately took them. Ice Cube. Ice Cube played Craig Jones, the easygoing neighborhood guy who just wanted to get through the day but somehow kept finding himself in one ridiculous situation after another. Born on June 15, 1969, in Los Angeles, California, Ice Cube was 26 years old when he took on the role that would change his life. What many people forget is that Ice Cube wasn't just the star of Friday. He also helped write and produce the film. The movie became a cultural phenomenon and turned Craig Jones into one of the most beloved comedy characters of the 1990s. For Ice Cube, it was the beginning of something much bigger than anyone could have imagined. Ice Cube didn't just walk away from Friday as a successful actor. The film became the foundation of an entertainment empire that would eventually include hit movies, television projects, and major business ventures. He found enormous success as a producer and filmmaker through projects such as Straight Outta Compton and the Barbershop franchise, building an estimated fortune of around $160 million along the way. But the journey was far from easy. Moving from the world of controversial gangster rap as a member of NWA to becoming one of Hollywood's most respected figures meant dealing with years of criticism and doubt from both the music and film industries. His demanding schedule often brought pressure at home, while rumors and public scrutiny followed him throughout much of his career. In recent years, some of his hardest moments have come from losing close friends and longtime collaborators, reminders that even tremendous success cannot protect someone from personal heartbreak. Today, at 57 years old, Ice Cube remains as busy as ever. He continues working as an actor, producer, writer, and entrepreneur, while also helping run the Big Three basketball league that he co-founded. Unlike many stars from his era, he has managed to stay relevant across multiple generations, balancing entertainment, business, and family life at the same time. He still lives much of his personal life away from the spotlight and has remained married to Kimberly Woodruff for more than 3 decades. Looking back, Ice Cube's story is one of the rare Hollywood success stories, a man who turned a breakout role in Friday into a lasting legacy that extends far beyond music or movies. John Witherspoon. To many Friday fans, John Witherspoon was the heart of the entire movie. As Willie Jones, Craig's strict but endlessly funny father, he delivered some of the most quoted lines in the film and created a character that felt both hilarious and surprisingly real. Born on January 27, 1942, in Detroit, Michigan, he was 53 years old when he stepped into the role. His effortless comedic timing turned Mr. Jones into one of the most beloved fathers in movie history and helped make Friday a lasting classic. Long before and after Friday, Witherspoon enjoyed a successful career that stretched across several decades. His popularity continued to grow through television shows like The Wayans Brothers, while younger audiences came to know his voice through the animated hit The Boondocks. Unlike many comedians who relied on shock value or controversy, Witherspoon built his career through charm, relatability, and impeccable timing. He became one of those rare performers who could make audiences laugh with a single expression or line delivery. Despite spending much of his life making people smile, the reality behind the scenes was often exhausting. Like many working entertainers, he faced constant pressure to keep earning, which meant endless tours, television appearances, and film projects. The demanding schedule frequently kept him away from home for long periods and placed strain on family life, even though he remained devoted to his wife, Angela Robinson. In his later years, he also dealt with a number of chronic cardiovascular health issues that gradually took a toll on his body. John Witherspoon passed away unexpectedly on October 29, 2019, at the age of 77 after suffering a heart attack at his home in Sherman Oaks, California. He was laid to rest at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Hollywood Hills, where many entertainment legends have been buried. Even years after his death, his work continues to entertain new generations, and for many people, he will always be remembered as the funny, wise, and unforgettable father figure who helped make Friday one of the greatest comedy films of its time. Regina King. Long before she became an Oscar winner and one of Hollywood's most respected actresses, Regina King was known to Friday fans as Dana Jones, Craig's sharp-tongued sister, who always seemed ready to argue with everyone around her. Born on January 15, 1971 in Los Angeles, California, she was only 24 years old when she stepped into the role. Dana wasn't on screen nearly as much as some of the film's bigger characters, but Regina's natural charisma made every appearance memorable. At the time, few people could have predicted that she would eventually become one of the most acclaimed performers to come out of the entire cast. Friday was just one stop on a career that continued to climb higher and higher. Regina went on to prove that she could do far more than comedy, delivering powerful performances in both film and television. Her work earned her 4 Emmy Awards, while her role in If Beale Street Could Talk brought her the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. She later expanded into directing and received widespread praise for One Night in Miami, showing that her talents extended far beyond acting alone. Yet the greatest challenge of Regina King's life had nothing to do with Hollywood. In January 2022, her only son, Ian Alexander Jr., died by suicide shortly after his 26th birthday. The tragedy sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry and left Regina facing a level of grief that no award or professional achievement could ever ease. For a long time, she withdrew from public life, rarely appearing in interviews or on social media as she struggled to process the loss. Even before that heartbreaking chapter, she had already endured a painful divorce and several relationships that never found lasting happiness. As of 2026, Regina King is 55 years old and continues to work selectively as both an actress and director. Those close to her often describe her as remarkably strong, but she has never hidden the fact that losing her son changed her forever. While she remains one of Hollywood's most admired figures, her story today is not only one of success and recognition, but also of resilience, healing, and learning how to move forward after unimaginable heartbreak. Bernie Mac. Playing the shady and inappropriate Pastor Clever, Bernie Mac delivered one of those small but memorable performances that instantly grabbed the audience's attention. Born on October 5, 1957, in Chicago, Illinois, he was 38 years old when he appeared in the film. At the time, he was still building his reputation as a stand-up comedian, but Friday helped introduce him to a much wider audience. It would prove to be one of the early stepping stones toward becoming one of the biggest comedy stars of his generation. What followed was a remarkable rise. Bernie Mac went from comedy clubs to television and eventually to major Hollywood productions. He became a household name through The Bernie Mac Show, a sitcom that showcased both his humor and his surprising emotional depth. Movie fans also embraced him in films such as Ocean's 11 and its sequels, where he shared the screen with some of Hollywood's biggest stars. By the mid-2000s, he had achieved the kind of success that few comedians ever reach, building an estimated fortune of around $15 million and earning the admiration of both audiences and fellow entertainers. Yet, behind the laughter, Bernie was fighting a battle that very few people fully understood. For years, he quietly suffered from sarcoidosis, a serious inflammatory disease that attacked his lungs and gradually weakened his body. The condition often left him struggling with pain, breathing difficulties, and extreme fatigue, but he rarely spoke publicly about how much he was suffering. At the same time, his relentless work schedule kept him constantly traveling between stand-up performances, television projects, and film sets, creating strain and distance within his family life. Even as his career flourished, his health continued to decline behind closed doors. Bernie Mac passed away on August 9, 2008, at the age of 50 after complications from pneumonia, which became especially dangerous because of his long battle with sarcoidosis. He was laid to rest at Washington Memory Garden Cemetery in Homewood, Illinois, near his hometown of Chicago. Years after his passing, Bernie Mac remains one of the most beloved comedians of his era, remembered not only for making people laugh, but also for the courage he showed while enduring tremendous physical suffering in private. Chris Tucker. For many viewers, Friday simply would not be the same without Smokey. Loud, reckless, constantly in trouble, and responsible for some of the movie's funniest moments, the character became an instant fan favorite. Chris Tucker, who was born on August 31, 1971, in Atlanta, Georgia, was only 24 years old when he brought Smokey to life. His fast-talking comedic style was unlike anything audiences had seen before, and almost overnight he became one of the breakout stars of the film. The success that followed was extraordinary. Hollywood quickly recognized Tucker's star power, and before long he was sharing the screen with Jackie Chan in the hugely successful Rush Hour franchise. At one point, he was among the highest-paid actors in the industry, commanding salaries that most comedians could only dream about. His rise from stand-up comic to global movie star happened so quickly that it seemed as if nothing could slow him down. Behind the scenes, however, life became far more complicated. Despite earning hundreds of millions of dollars throughout his career, Tucker found himself buried under enormous tax debts after years of poor financial management. Much of the fortune he had worked so hard to build disappeared. One of the biggest turning points came when he chose not to return for Next Friday, a decision that remains one of the most discussed what-ifs of his career. As the years passed and several close friends in the entertainment world died unexpectedly, Tucker began reevaluating his priorities and gradually stepped away from the lifestyle that had once defined him. Now, 54 years old, Chris Tucker lives a far quieter life than the one he led during his Hollywood peak. He still performs stand-up from time to time and occasionally returns to acting, but fame is no longer the center of his world. Much of his attention is focused on his faith, family, and personal well-being. Although his estimated net worth is far lower than it once was, Tucker often appears more at peace than he did during his years of greatest success, a reminder that happiness and fulfillment do not always come from wealth or celebrity. Nia Long. When Friday hit theaters in 1995, Nia Long captured audiences' attention as Debbie, Craig's beautiful love interest and one of the few bright spots in his chaotic day. Born on October 30, 1970, in Brooklyn, New York, she was 25 years old when she appeared in the film. By that point, Friday helped strengthen her image as one of the most beloved leading ladies in black cinema. It was another important step in a career that would keep her in the spotlight for decades. Over the years, Nia Long became a familiar face to moviegoers, earning praise for her performances in films such as The Best Man and its sequels. Her beauty, charm, and natural screen presence made her a fan favorite, while her longevity in the industry proved she was much more than just another Hollywood starlet. Unlike many actresses who faded from view after the 1990s, Nia managed to remain relevant across multiple generations of film and television audiences. Yet behind the success, her personal life was often marked by disappointment and heartbreak. In late 2022, her long-term relationship with former NBA coach Ime Udoka collapsed after a highly publicized cheating scandal revealed that he had been involved with a female employee within the organization. The story dominated headlines for weeks and left Nia facing intense public scrutiny despite being the wronged party. Since then, she has focused much of her energy on raising her two sons, Messiah and Kez, while rebuilding her life away from the drama. At the same time, she has spoken openly about her frustrations with Hollywood, arguing that talented black actresses are often overlooked for major opportunities and repeatedly pushed into the same limited types of roles. Today, at 55 years old, Nia Long continues to work steadily in film and television while remaining a respected figure in the entertainment industry. She has become increasingly vocal about issues of representation and equality in Hollywood, using her platform to advocate for change. While the public often associates her with glamour and success, her journey has also been shaped by resilience, perseverance, and the ability to keep moving forward after some very public personal setbacks. Michael Clarke Duncan. Most viewers barely noticed Michael Clarke Duncan's brief appearance as a dice player in Friday, but the towering actor would soon go on to leave a much bigger mark on Hollywood. Born on December 10, 1957 in Chicago, Illinois, he was 38 years old when he appeared in the film. Standing well over 6 feet tall with an unforgettable presence, Duncan immediately stood out whenever he appeared on screen. A few years later, Michael Clarke Duncan achieved the role of a lifetime when he portrayed John Coffey in The Green Mile. His heartbreaking performance earned widespread acclaim and an Academy Award nomination, transforming him from a character actor into a respected Hollywood star. Audiences were moved by the emotional depth he brought to the role, proving that he was capable of far more than simply playing intimidating tough guys. For a time, it seemed as though his career was only beginning to reach its full potential. Unfortunately, his greatest battle took place away from the cameras. Despite his enormous frame and seemingly powerful physique, Duncan suffered a massive heart attack in July 2012. Although he initially survived and fought hard to recover, his condition never fully improved. During those difficult final months, he struggled with serious health complications while also dealing with reports of tension and uncertainty surrounding his relationship with fiancée Omarosa Manigault. Throughout much of his career, he had also grown frustrated by Hollywood's tendency to cast him almost exclusively as intimidating or violent characters because of his size. Michael Clarke Duncan passed away on September 3, 2012, at the age of 54 due to complications from the heart attack he had suffered weeks earlier. His death shocked fans and colleagues alike, many of whom believed he still had some of his best work ahead of him. He was laid to rest at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Hollywood Hills, California, a cemetery that is also the final resting place of many entertainment legends. More than a decade after his passing, he is still remembered not only for his imposing presence, but also for the kindness, warmth, and humanity he brought to the screen. Tom Lister Jr. Few characters in Friday were as intimidating as Debo. The massive neighborhood bully barely had to raise his voice to make people nervous. The man behind the character was Tom Lister Jr., better known to many wrestling fans as Tiny Zeus Lister. Born on June 24, 1958 in Compton, California, he was 37 years old when he brought Debo to life. What could have been a one-dimensional tough guy role instead became one of the most recognizable villains in comedy film history, and it opened the door to a long list of acting opportunities afterward. Following the success of Friday, Lister became a familiar face in Hollywood thanks to his unique look and larger-than-life personality. Audiences spotted him in dozens of films and television shows, including the sci-fi blockbuster The Fifth Element. For years, his towering frame helped make him one of the industry's most recognizable character actors. Away from the cameras, however, life was far less glamorous. Despite earning a steady living in entertainment, Lister struggled with financial management and became entangled in a series of legal and business problems. The situation grew so severe that he eventually filed for bankruptcy after years of mounting financial pressure. At the same time, his health steadily deteriorated as he battled complications related to diabetes and heart disease. Tom Lister Jr. was found dead at his home in Marina del Rey, California, on December 10, 2020, at the age of 62. In the days leading up to his death, he had reportedly experienced symptoms consistent with COVID-19, although authorities later determined that the official cause of death was hypertensive and atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease. Today, he remains best remembered for creating one of the most unforgettable characters in the entire Friday franchise, F. Gary Gray. Most viewers probably missed F. Gary Gray's brief cameo as a man inside a convenience store, but his real contribution to Friday happened behind the camera. Born on July 17, 1969 in New York City, New York, he was only 26 years old when he directed the film. Friday became a surprise cultural phenomenon and established him as one of the most promising young directors in Hollywood. The success of that film was only the beginning. Over the next 3 decades, Gray built an impressive career directing everything from music videos to major studio blockbusters. His resume eventually included films such as Straight Outta Compton, The Italian Job, and The Fate of the Furious, making him one of the most successful black directors in the world. Yet the rewards of that success often came with a personal cost. Gray never married and never had children, a decision that some believe was influenced by the relentless demands of his career. In interviews, he has occasionally hinted at the sacrifices required to remain at the top of such a competitive industry, admitting that work often consumed nearly every aspect of his life. While many people saw the glamorous side of Hollywood, Gray spent years dealing with exhausting schedules, creative pressure, and the constant expectation that each new project would outperform the last. He also faced criticism from some observers who accused him of abandoning the urban stories that first made him famous in favor of big-budget studio productions. As of 2026, F. Gary Gray is 57 years old and remains an influential figure in the film industry. He continues to develop new projects and is widely respected for helping pave the way for a new generation of filmmakers. His journey from directing Friday on a modest budget to overseeing some of the largest productions in Hollywood stands as one of the most impressive success stories in modern filmmaking. Paula Jai Parker. Anyone who remembers Friday probably remembers Joy, Craig's fiery and jealous girlfriend who never seemed far away from an argument. The role was played by Paula Jai Parker. Born on August 19, 1969 in Cleveland, Ohio, she was 26 years old when she appeared in the film. By then, Parker had already begun attracting attention for her acting talent, and Friday introduced her to an even larger audience. In the years that followed, Paula Jai Parker proved she was much more than a supporting actress. She won a Cable Ace Award for her performance in Cosmic Slop, and became familiar to younger audiences through her voice work on the animated series The Proud Family. Her energetic personality and ability to move between comedy and drama made her one of the more versatile performers of her generation. However, her story took a far more difficult turn. Parker has repeatedly claimed that speaking out against unfair treatment in the entertainment industry resulted in her being effectively blacklisted, causing job opportunities to disappear almost overnight. Whether one agrees with that assessment or not, there is little doubt that her career slowed dramatically. Financial struggles eventually became so severe that she and her husband, Forrest Martin, reportedly experienced periods of homelessness, moving from one inexpensive motel to another while trying to keep their family afloat. The stress of constant financial uncertainty also placed tremendous pressure on their marriage, leading to years of tension and instability. As of 2026, Paula Jai Parker is 57 years old and continues to work whenever opportunities arise, primarily through independent films, guest appearances, and voice acting projects. Her journey serves as a reminder that Hollywood success can be unpredictable, and that talent alone is not always enough to guarantee a stable future in the entertainment industry. Faizon Love. Big Worm may have been a drug dealer, but thanks to Faizon Love's performance, he also became one of the funniest and most memorable characters in Friday. Born on June 14, 1968, in Santiago de Cuba, Cuba, Faizon was 27 years old when he played the role. The character quickly became a fan favorite and remains one of the most quoted villains in the entire franchise. The success of the film significantly raised Faizon Love's profile in Hollywood. Over the years, he built a respectable career through appearances in popular comedies such as Elf and Couples Retreat, while continuing to perform stand-up comedy. Unfortunately, his off-screen reputation often generated as much attention as his acting. Throughout the years, he became involved in a number of legal controversies and assault allegations that repeatedly placed him in the headlines for the wrong reasons. Several incidents resulted in arrests and public criticism, damaging relationships within the entertainment industry and limiting some professional opportunities. Financial difficulties caused by poor money management reportedly created additional pressure, forcing him to continue performing at smaller comedy venues long after his biggest Hollywood successes. Today, at 58 years old, Faizon Love remains active as a comedian and actor, though his career is far quieter than it was during his peak years. He continues making occasional appearances in films, television projects, and comedy events while maintaining a loyal fan base that still associates him with Big Worm. So there you have it, the cast of Friday Then and Now. Some went on to build incredible careers, some faced heartbreaking losses and personal struggles, and sadly, others are no longer with us. But even after all these years, the film and its unforgettable characters continue to make people laugh around the world. Which Friday cast member surprised you the most, and who was your favorite character in the movie? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next Then and Now update. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.